Hi, good Friday evening to you. Hey, it's LongShotsTV, guys, and I'll welcome Donnie right side in tonight. We're going to talk playoff football and the big game coming up Monday night, which everybody's looking forward to. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us on the app. Our beta testers are testing the trend betting app for the first time on a live stream. We hope everybody can see us tonight and hear us. That'd be great. And hopefully we'll be able to get you some information on these playoff games that are looking pretty good. How you doing, Donnie, tonight? You feeling good? You feeling it?
I'm feeling good. I mean, this is my favorite time of the year. I mean, obviously football's winding down, so you get that little tear in the eye, but ain't no way better to go out than in the playoffs. I love this weekend having 4 games, but honestly, Tony, next weekend when the big boys come out to play,
Yeah.
that's my favorite weekend of the year, but you can't go wrong on Wild Card Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to these games a lot. This is my favorite time of the year as well when it comes to NFL football anyway, because this is what it comes down to. It's, putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak. Okay, well, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about the Oakland Raiders and the Houston Texans. Texans looks like they're favored by 3.5 to 4 on most books. And this is one of those games, Donnie, Derek Carr breaks his leg. Oakland's rolling along, and now you kind of wonder, what are they going to be able to do in the playoffs? Whereas on the other side of the ball, you've got Brock Osweiler. If you're betting this game or you're trying to cap this game, what do you really? I mean, how can you get an edge on this, Donnie?
In this game, what it comes down to is really betting in its simplest form and using each team by team analysis. If you look at the numbers, I mean, Oakland 12-4, like you said, 9-7 to Houston. First of all, the game shouldn't even be on the road because Oakland technically should be home resting, right behind New England with the number 2 seed and getting
Right.
ready for a Super Bowl push. How quickly things change, just like that ace pitcher in baseball when he goes down. When you lose your quarterback, you lose the head of the snake, and that's tough to overcome. Now, they did have McGloin as a backup quarterback who's been around the league, a veteran presence, been in that Oakland system. He's not even going to play in this one. So theoretically, it's not even a backup quarterback that's going to take the field for Oakland. It's going to be a rookie who is a practice squad player. And if you don't know about the NFL, if you're a practice squad player, you're not even running Oakland Raider plays in practice. You are running the other team's scheme and just trying to match it up and get your throws in and get your work in. You're
Right.
still going to team meetings. You're still trying to learn the process, but you're not getting any reps whatsoever in practice. So case in point, you're going to get your first career start in the NFL on the road in a tough environment in a dome in the playoffs versus a team that is used to being in the playoffs. Brock Osweiler on the flip side for Houston, he's not a very good quarterback, but they're going to be healthy coming to this one. Obviously, J.J. Watt's been out a long time, and that defense is still ranked number 1 overall. They've held down the fort the entire year. Lamar Miller had 2 full weeks off. He's going to be rested and ready for this ball game. Another key injury, Tony, that you want to look out for, left tackle Donald Penn is not going to play for the Oakland Raiders. So now you're looking at a backup left tackle, a third-string rookie making his first career start on the road. If you can get it at 3.5 or 4, I would be leaning towards Houston. But again, the NFL did the right thing by putting this game on as the appetizer to start the playoffs on Saturday because it's a terrible football game. I
Yeah.
won't have any money on this game. I like to say that now, depending on maybe some things change. But I would lean Houston here. Not enough to bet, though, for me.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Most boards are showing Donald Penn is questionable, though.
He's out. Yeah, he was just
He's out?
officially about an hour ago, Tony, was ruled out for the game.
Okay, all right. And there's some other notables also that are listed as doubtful, but you'll have to get the report closer to game time to make sure you make a good decision on that if you're planning on betting it. Okay, let's go to Detroit and Seattle. All right, this is the game I'm looking forward to. Nobody is counting on the Detroit Lions to do anything, Donnie, and that saddens me.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at how it's played out, I mean, Detroit had everything in their hands 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You could have just beat, the Dallas Cowboys, but you got bailed out. You lost that game, and you were still clinching a playoff spot due to a couple upsets there in the NFC. And then you had it all together. Your nemesis, Aaron Rodgers, in your house. You struggle to beat that team. Circle the wagons one time in the last football game of the season. Win your home field advantage for that first playoff game. Avoid going to Seattle. They came up completely lame again. Now, having said that, this isn't your father's Seahawks football team.
Right.
Earl Thomas leaving in that secondary has been massive. The past couple teams that have come down and played Seattle have played them really well and really tight. You're looking at a team last week. Seattle had something to play for. The 49ers, without Carlos Hyde, are basically, a MAC football team out there on offense. They played them right down to the wire. The one thing I do like in Seattle here is if you can keep this game close, they're getting 8 points. I don't think Seattle has the ability to blow you out or completely take over a game on offense. It's a shame that Detroit is not going to come with a little bit better running game because that would take a lot of pressure off of Matthew Stafford, but he has enough weapons in this game to keep it close. It's so hard to win, Tony, in Seattle. I don't know if they can pull it off, but I'm not laying over a touchdown with the Seattle Seahawks here.
I agree there. It's unfortunate that Theo Riddick is out, Brandon Pettigrew is out, Abdullah. There's just too many guys that were, key factors. And it's kind of the contrast of seasons here where you had this Detroit, coming along throughout the season and putting win after win together with those fourth quarter comebacks. And then on the opposite end, you had Seattle who just, started off terrible and then just really started putting the season together. And that's what it's all about. Playoff football is peaking at the right time.
Mm-hmm. And if you look also at Detroit, the one thing, again, being a gambler, a lot of the times, Tony, you've done this for a long time, is not about betting the team. It's about betting and getting value in the number. The one thing I absolutely love to use as one of my arrows, getting ready to come out would be you're looking at a team that played twice in a row, national primetime, huge ratings. They got beat down at the Cowboys. They got beat down at Green Bay. So what does Joe Public immediately say? Oh, my God, Seattle never loses at home. I saw Detroit the last 2 weeks. They're a terrible football team. It's a great reason to buy low. The one thing that Detroit is really going to bounce back with and have a good week, Dallas football.
Right.
Best offensive line in football. If you look at the Green Bay Packers offensive line, they have 3 linemen that rank number 1 at their position, according to Pro Football Focus. They're going to come in against one of the worst offensive lines in the game. They're going to be able to put pressure on Russell Wilson. The key is, playoff Russell Wilson is going to run the ball more. If you can keep him under contain, and that Detroit front 4 is good enough to generate pressure organically without taking the blitz away. And again, you're not worried on the back end. If you look at Green Bay, they have 5 wide receivers that can beat you. Dallas has the best running back in the game, an all-pro wide receiver, a great slot, and a really good tight end. That's not the case here with Seattle. Seattle has Jimmy Graham, a great quarterback. Darius Slay looks like he is going to be healthy for this one again. He's going to be matched up on Doug Baldwin to try to take that away. There's really no number 2 out there that can beat you. I think Detroit can hang in this one, and taking the 8 points is probably going to be the smart money here.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, Donnie. So here's the wrap-up. We've got Oakland at Houston. And the winner of that game then has to go into New England and play the Patriots, and that's going to be a tough call for either one of them. And between Detroit and Seattle, they have to go to Atlanta and play the Falcons there, and they're on a roll as well. So potential outcomes there, Donnie. I would think we'd both tend to lean towards New England winning that game, obviously. But what about Atlanta?
Yeah, it's probably going to be chalk in there. I mean, I don't anticipate – it'd be nice. Hey, it's the NFL and anything can happen. We've seen close games with Seattle. As long as Seattle holds serve, and then we're going to look at the game in a couple minutes there with Pittsburgh and Miami. Same thing with the Giants and Green Bay. Whoever holds serve looks like they're going to go in and play who they're supposed to play. Next week is the biggest. It's one of my greatest capping factors I love to use is the bye week in the playoffs. The number 1 and number 2 team typically are the best team in the divisions, and they're getting a full week off. And that wild card, you're going to be fighting tooth and nail right down to the gun in these games. So keep an eye on next week when we do that show. We'll go over it even more of what the overall statistics are on the home team coming off a bye in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to get into some depth on those. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's jump down to Miami-Pittsburgh. Looks like the line, it's jumped all the way to 10.5 in favor of Pittsburgh here. Do you see Miami giving Pittsburgh any kind of a contest in this?
I do. Again, it's a shame that they're coming in with a backup quarterback.
Right.
But he's been there, and he's been in the league over 10 years. He had two nice wins there against the Jets on the road and the Bills on the road. Didn't play very well versus the New England Patriots. But, again, you have to question motivation in that one for Miami. Sure, the coach and the ownership came out and said, hey, we're going to play this game to win. In the back of their minds are going, we're not moving up in the standings. We're playing New England. And, as soon as New England jumped out to that lead, 14-0, all they're thinking about right now in the back of their head is, yeah, do we want to play hard? They're saying, I don't want to get hurt in this one. Do I think Miami has a chance to win this football game? Absolutely not. But again, when you're dealing with, a couple of sports books at 10.5, some even showing 11, it's not necessarily about can they hang around the game. It's if you're down 17 points in the fourth quarter, there's no more style points for Pittsburgh. All they're looking to do is say, hey, you know what? Let's run it out, get to zeros. Let's not get anybody hurt, and let's move on and go on the bigger and better things. That's what you have to factor in. Could this game end up being 28-10? Sure. But that means you only missed the line by a touchdown.
Right.
If Miami can come into this football game, it's going to be cold, maybe get an early turnover, a pick six, or something on a big play. They can hang around and swing. Do I think they can win the game? No, and I don't think anybody's picking them to win. But I can't lay double digits in the playoffs. I just can't do it.
Right, yep. And you got 3 guys on Miami's defense that's questionable for that game, and Pittsburgh obviously is still pretty banged up, but they just seem to keep getting it done. So
yeah, I mean they're well rested coming to this one, having Big Ben and Antonio Brown and also Le'Veon Bell taking the week off last week. And let's not forget, I mean, I was on the side early in the season. I had the Miami Dolphins. They won outright versus the Steelers. So this isn't David versus Goliath where it was 61-0 here. I mean, they actually beat this football team, so it is going to be a rematch.
All right, looking forward to that. And then we look to New York Giants at Green Bay. The funny thing is I was looking at the research and the records, and playoffs in Green Bay. Green Bay is 2-2, and the New York Giants are 2-0. Interesting.
In what respect?
In playoff football over the last, I believe it was, I'm not sure how many years, but yeah, it's the record was New York Giants were 2-0 at Lambeau, and Green Bay was 2-2 in playoff football over the last 3 seasons, I believe.
So their last 2 losses came against the Giants. What you're saying?
Yes. No, not against the Giants. Yeah, actually, that's exactly what I was saying. I'm looking at some other information here, but yeah, it was against the Giants in previous matchups. I guess I misspoke on that, but yeah, so there's some history there that says, obviously New York playing the way they are as well, they've got a good chance to go into Lambeau and get the win there. Whereas Green Bay, they've been, really striding, and again, like you usually point out, is public perception. Green Bay's been on a roll, but I don't think that Green Bay is going to actually be able to hold the Giants off here on this game.
It's going to be interesting because the Giants have a tendency to not score any points. But the one thing you have to love is when you can bring a defense on the road or anywhere in the playoffs in cold weather, you're always going to be in the football game. The one thing that's going to be very tough for the New York Giants is just Eli Manning alone. He's had a terrible season. The only thing, if he can avoid, is throwing the interception at the wrong time.
Right.
The Giants will not only be in this game, they can win this football game. But how many times over the year have you seen just the awful throw where it's 3rd and 10 on your own 10, and you just throw it blind over the middle of the field and it turns into a pick six? He does it quite a bit. If he can avoid that, they have a matchup advantage here. A couple defensive backs are going to be out for Green Bay, or at least heavily banged up heading into this one, and that's not what you want to see when you have Odell Beckham Jr. coming into this football game. As long as the wind is light in that one, he's going to play a force. The one thing I do like is the addition of Paul Perkins into the lineup over the last couple weeks to revive a running game that was dormant for the most of the season. The one thing it's hard to bet against, I know it's Green Bay at home, it's what they do, but you have to look inside the numbers here. If you look at each and every Giant game, if they're not winning the game, they're hanging around right till the very end in a lower scoring battle. The cold weather, Tony, is going to lend to more of a low scoring game as opposed to a shootout if it was in nice weather or in a dome somewhere. My mind right now, I haven't fired on any playoff game yet because I'm still waiting on some conditions there. I'm actually surprised, Tony, that line went from 4.5 to 5 and is showing up at 5.5 in some places. I'm leaning towards taking the points here early.
Nice. I was just looking at some public consensus on the games too, and it's interesting to note. With first of all the totals, New York Green Bay is 71% on the over. Detroit, Seattle, 70% on the over. Miami, Pittsburgh, 61% on the over, which you would think would be typical. But then the Oakland Raiders and the Houston Texans, 57% on the under. this
You
is
have to factor in that game. What are they even doing in that game? I don't even know. I don't even know how it's a playoff game.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's interesting also to note that on the money line betting, Pittsburgh Steelers are 69% on the money line, and as far as against the spread, it's uh, it's pretty even. But you got 57% Pittsburgh, 57 Detroit Lions, Houston Texans at 55, and Green Bay at 54. So that gives me a little bit of insight as far as how these games are going to play out. So I don't know. What does it tell you? Anything, Donnie?
Yeah, it's depending on different places, the way you get the reads there. I don't so much take a look at who the public is betting as much in the playoffs as when, a regular season game where there's 12 games on the board and
Sure.
Joe Public is just going to pick out, I want to pick this game. It's hard for Joe Public to zero in on a game when all four teams are really good football teams. You don't make the playoffs in the NFL, even though I get Oakland lost their quarterback, didn't look too good versus Denver last week. I get all that. But in the playoffs, I tend to lean away from the actual percentages because they're all good football teams and try to find that niche that you like individually in these games yourself. And I always lean towards the home team. It's a rare occurrence that I'm going to be on a road team getting less than 7 points unless the situation warrants it. I do think Green Bay has a very good shot here. Obviously, Miami, Pittsburgh at double digits. I doubt I'll even have that game. And for teaser bettors out there, I can't imagine in the playoffs with good football teams taking a 3-team 10-point teaser, Detroit getting 18, Pittsburgh Steelers just to win the football game and then take the Giants getting 15. It looks as easy as it is, but then again, that's why teasers are out there. They look really easy until those football games are played.
That's so true, so true.
Yeah.
All right, so then with Miami and Pittsburgh, the winner of that game goes to Kansas City and plays the Chiefs, and Giants Green Bay winner goes to Dallas, and nobody wants to go into Dallas and play them right now. So you've got a pretty good matchup, like you said, coming into the following week when we get really into it. And let's say it's Pittsburgh and Kansas City, Donnie. That's like the ultimate rematch there.
That's awesome. What a that's why can I just hit fast forward on this weekend's games because I can't wait to see those type of Titanic matchups there. Andy Reid is unbelievable after bye weeks. It's going to be very interesting to see what the public opens up there because you as well as I know, if Pittsburgh plays Miami and again wins 31-6 this weekend, which I'm praying they do, even though I'm not even going to have a wager on that game. That's just going to limit the damage there, and the public is going to be all over Pittsburgh coming into Kansas City and keep that line low. I would lean towards the Steelers, to the KC Chiefs in that, just because the way Andy Reid's going to have them prepared. And again, coming off the bye is a huge break.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think that next week is kind of a bye game for Dallas?
I don't think it's going to be a bye week game because they're still technically a young football team. But if you want to know where my money is, I already fired on a Dallas future at plus 138 to get to the Super Bowl, which means they have to win the NFC, which for me is going to set up a great scenario because I don't anticipate Dallas coming off the bye. They're going to be completely healthy, getting everybody back on their defense, ready to roll on offense. They need to win one football game for me, and then I can unload some of that money on the underdog playing in that game and take an automatic profit home. Just need Dallas to pick up that one win in order for that to happen. I think it's going to, but I do think Dallas is the king of the hill in the NFC.
All right. Yep, I think most people would tend to agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump over to the national title game. Number 2 Clemson against number 1 Alabama, and everybody is looking at this game. This is going to be a great rematch. You've got anywhere from -6 to -7 on a lot of boards. And I think that's going to fluctuate a little bit more as we draw closer to that game. This is one of those games. Now, if we go back to the beginning of the year, Donnie, this is the one where we're talking about our thoughts on national titles before anything got started, and I actually picked Clemson to win the national title. Yeah. And lo and behold, they're set up after blanking Ohio State to go against Alabama and possibly pull the upset off. I know they would, they're going to throw everything they can at them, I'm sure. Deshaun Watson's going to be at peak performance. But look at Alabama, Donnie. They've just steadily took care of business all season long, and it's kind of hard to, put put your money on Clemson when Alabama's the Titan that they are.
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of work this week on this football game because it's a pretty important game, and for the fact that I will be in Las Vegas for this game, so I'm going to make sure I have everything ready to go for this one. I've decided on a total in this game, but I'm not going to give out that wager. I have a couple clients already on that, and I just want to make sure that it's right. And then, maybe Monday before the game, by the time everybody has it, I think the number will be gone by the time it's actually given out, so won't matter there. But let's just take a look at the Clemson-Alabama game into itself. From the betting public advantage, I mean, I know people like Clemson. The worst thing that happened, honestly, Tony, to Clemson, or should I say for Clemson bettors, is the simple fact that Clemson won 31-0 last week. If you were a Clemson bettor, you actually would have preferred Clemson to win 31-30 because the preliminary spread on that game before Ohio State played Clemson, looking ahead towards Alabama, Clemson was getting plus 10.5 to 11 points on the open market. Once that game happened, lo and behold, Clemson is below a touchdown at this point. Yeah. So from a buying low, selling high standpoint, it was tough if you're a Clemson backer. Do I think Clemson can be in this game? Absolutely. The one glaring thing that I take a look at with Alabama, they didn't play that well versus Washington, who's a really good football team, ended up covering and winning that game by double digits, ended up being 17 points. Alabama has played 9 ranked football teams this year. The average margin of victory, 24.9 points per game. That's an astounding number to overcome. If you just look overall at Clemson, at Alabama, they played 13 games. Tony, they've given up 15 total defensive touchdowns on the season. That's enough to scare you away with anything below 7 points. But again, you have to look at Dabo Swinney. You have to look at Clemson. This is a been there, done that. This is the same game was played last year, albeit a little bit different moving parts. But Alabama was supposed to smash them last year. Yep. That game ends up in the last seconds, 45-40, an unbelievable game with Deshaun Watson going toe-to-toe with Saban the Master as the defensive coordinator out there and ringleader. They played very well. I expect nothing less out of Clemson. If you're going to tell me that this game is going to be 35-10 Alabama, I'm going to tell you you're crazy. Clemson's going to be in this football game. They might not cover since it is below a touchdown. I mean, it's only, one play or you're down 6 late in the game and you can't do it and they kick a field goal to make it 9 points. It's going to be a lot closer than what most of the public thinks. I think Clemson's going to hang around this one. Do I think they're going to cover the line? I'm not sure, which is why I'm not betting that there. But if you think Alabama's going to come out here and just steamroll like they've been doing the entire season, beating Florida by 38 points, that's not going to happen here.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game no matter what happens. But this is definitely a game that most sports bettors are going to want to stick a little money on. So be smart about it, guys. Do your research. Ask for some advice if you need it. We're here. You got Donnie Rightside over at DonnieRightside.com. You get TheRhino over at TrendBetting.com and a few other choice guys that are definitely on it and can help you out with that. So, guys, it's going to be a great playoff. We're going to talk more about it next week, obviously, when we get to the next stage of the games. And hopefully we will crown a new national title champion in Clemson. At least that's what I'm hoping.
It's gonna be fun. Every year, these games usually do not fail to impress over the past couple of years, so it's really going to be a lot of fun. You can't pick two better teams to go at each other and ready to go and just go toe-to-toe, and a rematch from last year, which was a great football game, and it could even be even better this year.
Yeah, we're hoping so. That's what everybody's looking for. It's just some good college football, some good NFL playoff football, and enjoy the next few weeks up until the Super Bowl. Okay, guys. Well, I hope folks that were watching on the beta test app tonight could see us and everything was good. And getting the thumbs up from the technical crew, so that's a good thing. And that's the announcement that we wanted to make this week, that we were in beta test for a brand new app, sports betting app from Trend Betting, and we will be rolling that out the weekend before Super Bowl. So we will go live with that app. You're going to find it very useful tool, has live odds. You can watch our show live from anywhere, There's a lot of other great information and articles, and you can get to Donnie or myself or Lance or any of the guys through the app as well. It's basically your direct link to them, and we're going to utilize that and bring you a lot of great information over the next years to help you with your sports betting. So anything, final comments, Donnie?
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to have at least one premium play in these NFL football games. I'm hoping for two, depending on some of the equations that worked out there. Going over the show, Tony, the listeners out there, they know which way I'm leaning on them. So it's going to come from those four teams that we did go over, just a matter of picking out the right one and making sure the line is right. Monday night, I have a great total in this football game, a real good beat on it. Hoping for a really good game, but I'm hoping the tempo in this game is a little bit up here as opposed to down here, if you catch what I'm saying.
All right. There you go, guys. A little bit of lean from the master. So, guys, you want to definitely get on board with Donnie because he's by all means the master when it comes to the football games. And you can check out his documented record anytime. So that's it for Long Shots TV tonight, guys. Let's enjoy the weekend and watching the games, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week at Friday at 9 Eastern. And make sure you visit Donnie over at DonnieRightside.com. Say hello and come see us at Trend Betting and also our Facebook group on Trend Betting as well.
Absolutely. Hey, man, I love coming on every single time with this show. Tony, do a great job over there hosting it. We're going to talk Friday night, hopefully with our pockets a little bit fatter.
There we go. All right. That's it, guys. Remember to take a shot with Long Shots because we are the game. Even get to cross.